Well, the Trump campaign has issued a statement banning Bloomberg News since they have declared their bias openly. The Trump campaign will no longer credential representatives of Bloomberg News for rallies or other campaign events. We will determine whether to engage with individual reporters or answer inquiries from Bloomberg News on a case-by-case basis. This will remain the policy of the Trump campaign until Bloomberg News publicly rescinds its decision. What isn't quite clear here is what decision that is, because the Bloomberg campaign itself is separate, obviously, from the Bloomberg organization. The Bloomberg media organization has vowed not to do any, I think, when Charlie Gasparino will clarify this for us, open investigations or examinations besides Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very untenable situation what Bloomberg News has imposed on its reporters.
And does it provide that to other candidates in the race?
No, full disclosure, I know a lot of people there. I think some of the best reporters in business. I know a lot of editors. I know people in management. They're good people. What Mike Bloomberg tried to do here is thread the needle. He tried to say, listen, I'm not running against Trump right now. I'm running against Elizabeth Warren. I'm running against all these Democrats. Therefore, if my reporters, which I still own the company, by the way, has my name on it, if they're going to cover, they're just going to cover the news that comes out of these campaigns. I'm not going to have them do deep dive investigative reporting that attacks Elizabeth Warren or attacks Pete Buttigieg.
But prior to his entrance, weren't they doing just that?
They were doing that on everybody. But when he got in, he doesn't want his reporters to give him an unfair playing field against the people that he's competing directly with. That's why they allowed same type of reporting for Trump because he's president.
Right.
But not the same type of coverage for those that he's running against. Now, the problem with that is that, of course, all these candidates are running against Trump now. I mean, one of the ways to get ahead in the Democratic Party is to beat up on Donald Trump, saying, right. I'm a better campaigner. And while I have no doubt that Bloomberg's news reporters and editors are going to cover this fairly, this is a very good organization when it comes to fairness. I'm telling you, I've competed against them for years. There's obviously an optics problem here. If you're just going to do investigations on Trump and not on everybody else, I mean, you got an optics problem.
But I guess what I want to clear it, you know more about this than I do, but prior to Bloomberg entering the race, they were doing investigations.
On everybody.
On everyone.
Except for Mike, obviously.
But isn't that even all the more glaring now that he's in the race that they just stopped doing it on all the Democratic candidates?
Yes, and that's the problem here. Not only is it, are they not like looking at the dirty laundry of Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
They're only looking at the dirty laundry of Trump. That's the case you can make. I gave you what they would say. They would say, listen, we're doing this because Mike is running against Elizabeth Warren, Buttigieg, Biden, not against Trump. But in reality, he kind of is running against Trump. His ads are going against Trump. So, listen, I will tell you, the people inside the organization, again, really good people. They're trying to thread the needle. The reporters feel like this policy is untenable, just so you know. I mean, the majority of the reporters say, I can't believe we have to do something like this. My guess what's going to happen here, but
what if they come across a revelation or something?
Well, that's it.
Then what do you do?
Suppose they hear something bad about Mike Bloomberg.
Right.
I mean, what do you do? Give it to the New York Times? I don't get it. Anyway, this is my guess, and it's kind of what's bouncing around the hallways inside Bloomberg News. After Super Tuesday, Biden, you'll get some idea where this campaign is going, whether it's going to complete chaos brokered convention.
I think he is banking on no one winning on the first ballot. Okay. He's good at math. He's good at numbers, right?
So just
that's when his chance
Just
arises.
Hear me out. He'll know that, I think, for sure after Super Tuesday. Does Biden clean up? Does Biden get Nevada, South Carolina, and sweep Super Tuesday? If that's the case, Mike Bloomberg probably doesn't have a very good shot of that scenario happen. But if he doesn't...
But it's more apportioned voting than it's ever been. So the likelihood
is still there. Yeah. So I guess after Super Tuesday, I think we're going to get some idea on where Mike Bloomberg thinks this is going and whether he stays in. Now, if he stays in, my guess, he's going to figure out some way to allow their reporters to cover everybody by putting this whole thing in a blind trust or selling it. By the way, the sale of this thing would be very difficult.
What did he do when he was mayor of New York?
Well, remember, New York City coverage for Mike Bloomberg was just like this. I mean, I think he just hired other people to do it, and
But it wasn't in a blind trust.
No, it wasn't in a blind. But remember, it wasn't. He's got.
It's different on a national basis.
This is the president of the United States. It's a huge thing. So I'm just saying that I think Super Tuesday is the day we find out what they do with Bloomberg News. Does he put in a blind trust? Does he sell it? It's very difficult to sell. Does he sell just the news organization? Very difficult to sell because it's a huge company.
Absolutely.
It would be like a $50 billion deal that private equity might have to buy. Does he put it in a blind trust? That's kind of a wishy-washy thing.
I don't think he'd do that until and if he were elected president.
I think after Super Tuesday, he's going to have to turn the dogs loose on his reporters. I think that's where this thing is going.